All Elite Wrestling is such an interesting case study. It really is, because you got your people who have been with AEW from the very beginning, and they feel like because of that, they want to stick tried and true to AEW, that everything they do, they're going to be a fan of, that AEW can do no wrong. AEW is the best promotion on the planet. AEW is everything wrestling needs. All Elite Wrestling is going to be the savior and take down the evil WWE and Vince McMahon. You have those people. You have people who just downright hate AEW, want AEW to go out of business. They hate everything they're about. They can't stand Tony Khan. You've got people who just generally don't care and don't watch it. You've got people who watch it sometimes. And generally speaking, AEW is such an interesting one. Wrestling fans right across the board have different opinions to it. In this video today, what I'll be doing is just giving my honest opinions about AEW, because I'll keep it real with you guys. I hate that expression. It's just corny, but no, I'll just right off the top, shoot off the cuff out my thoughts on AEW, what they've been doing of late, because if you follow the channel, if you don't, whatever. Basically, I haven't done an AEW Dynamite review. Well, I haven't done Dynamite reviews consistently since about July of last year. I've reviewed like 2 Dynamites since, so really, I haven't really been covering AEW. I've been keeping tabs on it. I've been watching Dynamites here and there, following the main stuff I need to follow. All this kind of stuff, been keeping tabs on it. So in this video, I'm going to give my thoughts. Before I do that, comment down below your thoughts on AEW. Are you enjoying what they're doing at the moment? Do you not like what they're doing? Do you have a favorite part? What do you think? All this kind of stuff. So without further ado, I just want to start off by talking about this. The whole thing with the Forbidden Door being opened, this is like the big thing going on in AEW. So we had Kenta recently. Kenta's feuding with Jon Moxley for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship at the moment. We had Kenta show up at the end of Dynamite the other week and attack Jon Moxley, which the AEW fan base and the fan base who loves New Japan, AEW, the indie type promotions, like generally speaking, you see a lot of these people on your wrestling Twitters, your Reddit squared circles, these people absolutely just loved it. These people thought this was the best thing they've seen in wrestling in so long. This was revolutionary. This is the Forbidden Door being opened. Oh my god. And in that sense, I'm genuinely really happy for the people who are so excited about that. I think the fact that New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW can work together, that they can potentially be giving us all these dream matches that a number of people have wanted to see for ages. I think the fact that that's a possibility now, thanks to Tony Khan and the relations between AEW and New Japan, I think the fact that that is happening and there's so many possibilities there, I think for the AEW fans that is awesome. And on the contrary, I think, realistically speaking, is the quote-unquote Forbidden Door being opened and having a surplus of New Japan wrestlers showing up on AEW and having matches, is that going to be something that's really going to click in the American mainstream and really correlate to ratings? That's something that I've really been trying to think about, because yes, for the people who know all the New Japan roster, who have all their favorite Japanese wrestlers, who love watching, New Japan matches and love watching AEW and love watching all these promotions, for these people, that is perfect. But for fans like myself, for instance, or fans who are more casual, fans who are more into WWE, fans who aren't as hardcore into AEW, for those people, is that really going to be what makes them watch AEW? Is that really going to be what flips the switch and takes AEW from 700,000 to 800,000 viewers and gets them up towards the million mark? Is that going to be is that going to be the big thing? Like, is having Kenta teaming with Kenny Omega to face Lance Archer and Jon Moxley in a hardcore Falls Count Anywhere match, is stuff like that on Dynamite and AEW going in that direction, is that going to be what leads them to the promised land, so to speak, of a million viewers? Is that what it's going to be? I think that one waits to be seen. I'm not going to cast a judgment on it yet because it'd be too early. Like, we're one, New Japan, like, male wrestler coming across and opening the Forbidden Door. We're one wrestler down as far as that. So, we don't know. Maybe, just maybe, that is the big thing, but in my personal opinion, as of just now, I have doubts as to whether that's going to really revolutionize the business, that Vince McMahon's shaking in his boots over the concept of Juice Robinson versus Joey Janela on Dynamite. I don't know. Like, maybe a year from now, the main event of Revolution 2022 will be Omega versus Okada for the Japanese world title, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Maybe that's what I don't know. So that's that whole situation as far as the Forbidden Door, the Japanese relationship, all that kind of stuff. As far as Dynamite itself, personally, a lot of the issues I've had with Dynamite for months are still going. And some of you are probably going to freak out just by hearing that, but I'm going to explain, okay? One of the main things and the main issues I have with Dynamite and NXT as well, NXT for the last month or so has been doing this worse than AEW. AEW especially, tag team wrestling's always been a big focus of their promotion. Tag team wrestling's always been something which, because the Young Bucks are vice presidents, they naturally want to make tag team wrestling a big part of their show. They want to make tag teams feel really important. And when you have a big surplus of tag team matches, that makes it easier for the Young Bucks to look better because they're the kings of the division. When there's so many tag team matches and they're the best tag team, it only helps their ego naturally. So when it comes to tag team wrestling, there's still too many tag team matches. Like, this, I don't know how people can defend this. I've seen people say, oh, well, you need to have tag team matches so that you can't overexpose the singles matches, and well, duh. But there's a way of doing that to where you don't have, 90% of, well, 90%, but like 5 of the 6 or 4 of the 6 matches every week as tag team matches. Because that gets old really damn fast. Like, I remember one week, excluding the Brody Lee tribute show, because that show, that one, exclude that. Excluding the Brody Lee show, I remember distinctively watching one Dynamite, I forget exactly which one this was, but I mean, most of them are fairly similar. You watch these shows, it goes tag team match, 6-man tag team match, 12-man tag, singles match, tag match, 6-man tag, and that's literally the show. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, these matches, the tag team matches, they're all the same. Like, yes, personnel-wise, not all the same personnels in every match. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the aesthetic structure of the match, it's all basically the same. It's a regular tag team match for a number of minutes. You get your outside dives, you get your chaos breakdown sequences where the referee has no clue what's happening as everyone's in the ring punching each other, doing some spots. There'll be someone dive over the top rope, someone go to the top rope and do a big flippy-do move, a 450 onto all 4 or 12 guys in the tag match. And then you'll get a conclusion, you'll be like, oh yeah, you get the resolution of the match and you're like, okay, is that really going to have many consequences on the long-term scheme of AEW? Not really. And then that's the match, So, really, that's the whole thing with tag team wrestling in AEW. Personally speaking, I like to see them still tone it back a bit. Like, I get the Young Bucks are vice presidents, but that doesn't mean that you need to have so many tag team matches. And also, next thing I want to talk about AEW, I think one of the things they need to address soon, because we're now in February of 2021, AEW's got to be releasing people. And the contrary to that is adding a third show, because AEW Dark, look, if you want to watch 14 different squash matches that are no longer than 7 minutes, in an hour and a half show on YouTube, if you want to do that, knock yourself out. That's exactly what you want to do. Have fun with it. But in reality, AEW just has too many wrestlers. Like, they're trying to showcase as many people as they can, but they just have too many wrestlers. And, for the wrestlers who have no distinctive character, no distinctive gimmick, I get Tony Khan. It's a very, inclusive promotion, even though I've seen people on Twitter at the moment saying that AEW is not very inclusive because of the no person of color, so to speak, is a champion. I've seen that kind of stuff. I've seen that tweeted out. That's not me saying this. Don't get all butthurt at me. I've seen that on Twitter. But, generally speaking, AEW, the inclusive nature of it, they're not trying to release anyone. They're trying to be the company that's going to let everyone have an opportunity and let everyone have a go. But that logic falls down to the fact that they have a 2-hour show on TNT, which you're trying to get ratings on. So you need to showcase your Codys, your Jerichos, your MJFs, your Omegas, your Moxleys. Dynamite, you need to showcase those guys and those wrestlers. And then AEW Dark is just going to be a bunch of squash matches over and over. So you need that third show, or you need to get rid of people. Or you just need to change the way you push people or how you showcase people. Because the way AEW is showcasing people now is, okay, we're going to have Cody and Lee Johnson versus whoever they were facing on Dynamite. I forget exactly, but it's just these randoms just to showcase them on Dynamite. These random matches that, you see a match graphic for Cody and Lee Johnson versus just these nobodies, and you're thinking, okay, that guy wrestled in NXT as a jobber for 2 years, a year ago. Like, why should I care? Like that's the kind of thing that AEW needs to address. So that's the whole thing with the personnel. I think the women's division, they're doing the women's tournament at the moment. I mean, that's good. They're having the crossover with Japan, the Joshi wrestlers, all that kind of stuff. I think that's good. It's only going to help the AEW women's division. The women's division as well. I mean, they're the same as the men. Like, how many wrestlers do you want to sign? Like, I get that they don't have a distinctive, like, oh my god, that is the top star. They don't have a Ronda Rousey. They don't have a Sasha Banks. They don't have someone of, like, that level. But in that regard, they have so many wrestlers. Like, whether you sign a big name and you cut like half the division, so you really kind of concentrate the talent, because having such like a diluted, broad talent pool, it's hard to make anyone feel overly important when you have so many wrestlers. Like, that's something I find, because they try and showcase everyone week after week, but I mean, that's really all they can do. Like, until you concentrate the talent more, that's the problem you're going to face with AEW. Because yes, Britt Baker's great on the mic, yes, Hikaru Shida's a good champion. Yes, Abaddon has a distinctive gimmick. I mean, that's Nyla Rose is there with Vicky. Like, they're doing all this stuff, but at the end of the day, you really got to kind of get rid of some of the women, or you've got to give them another show, or just something. Because keeping on signing, woman after woman, man after man, and there's no place to put them outside of a 12-man tag match on Dynamite or Dark, there's no point to that. So that's something I've got to address. Really, I mean, as far as Dynamite goes and AEW, I think that's like the main stuff. I'll quickly talk about Kenny Omega as champion. Kenny, he's such an interesting one. I've seen people say that Omega's the worst AEW champion we've had. I've seen people say he's by far the best. Omega's such a weird one to rate, because like, you look at Kenny Omega, he's doing the stuff with Don Callis, the Good Brothers. They're doing the stuff with All Elite Wrestling and Impact Wrestling, and now they've got the stuff where they're working potentially in New Japan. Really, if they're going to have Kenny Omega be like the flag bearer of AEW, not taking over, but working with all these different promotions, and Omega being the belt collector, and if they're going to do that, I think that's fine. I think that'll be his like legacy as champion. Like, I think when you look at each different AEW World Champion, you can think of Jericho as the guy who led AEW onto TNT. Jericho led AEW through their first, few months on mainstream TV. Moxley was the guy who led them through the guts of 2020. Moxley led them as champion through the pandemic. And then you're going to have Omega, who led the transition into all these different promotions and all these partnerships. So if that's going to be Omega's legacy as champion, I think that's good. I think what they're doing now is only going to help that. So in that regard, it's fine. So really, that's been the video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, be sure to like, comment, sub. I don't think I said anything horribly offensive about AEW. I kept it real. I asked some questions about whether, what they're doing at the moment is really going to be what sparks them to get over 1 million and really sparks them to try and take over. Because AEW is always going to please the people who love it. They're always going to please that majority of the audience, like the 600 to 700,000 people are going to stick with them regardless. Dynamite's always going to please those people, but it's about trying to get those people, the 1.4 million people who watch them on the premiere on TNT. It's about getting from 800,000 to 1.4 million. That range of fans in there, those fans who are fringe AEW fans who will watch when something is compelling, something is really going on. The fans who will watch, that's 600,000, getting them, as many of them as possible to consistently watch. That's what AEW Dynamite, that's what AEW faces. Hopefully they do well with OCF. Enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe, drill. See ya.